Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Hi everyone, it's a new day today, and we need to figure out our calendar. What our new day on our calendar is today. So, can everybody help me with the counting? We've got to count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What comes next? 15. 15 comes next. 15 is a 1 and a 5. And what is our pattern? What's the next shape in our pattern going to be? Got triangle, circle, square. Triangle, circle, square. What colors are square? Green. Green square. And squares are, they have 4 sides that are all the same size. And they have 4 corners. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. All right. Now let's go ahead and figure out what our day of the week is by doing our Days of the Week song. So, you can either clap or snap. Here we go. Ready? Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. All right, so let's go to our number 15 and go straight up, and we'll find out today is, let's see, Sunday and there's Monday, Tuesday and there's Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Who knows what our month is called? April. You guys got it? All right, let's go ahead and do our month song. Ready? We all need to stand up. Ready? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, and December. These are the months of the year. One more time. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, and December. These are the months of the year. Have a seat. Okay. So, our parts to our whole entire date then. Are we ready to do our whole entire date? Okay. We said today was, let's see, there's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday, and there's Wednesday. Wednesday, April. You've got it. Wednesday, April. And what's our number for today? 15. Wednesday, April 15th, and our year is 2020. All right. And just really quick, what's our letter for this week? Q. Letter Q. Take your pointer finger and your thumb, pinch it together like it's really small, and turn it upside down. Letter Q. Q says what? All right. And we are going to do our Bible verse really quick. Our Bible verse says, "Call to me, and I will answer you." Jeremiah 33:3. So let's do it all together. Ready? One more time. Call to me, and I will answer you. Jeremiah 33:3. One more time. Maybe you can see it better. Okay? Call to me, and I will answer you. Jeremiah 33:3. All right, I will see you all in just a moment. We're going to read a really, really cool story about a very special quilt. And I'll tell you in just a moment about my special quilts. All right, see you in a moment. Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Carmine. Today we are going to be reading the story The Keeping Quilt by Patricia Polacco. Now, real quick, I want to talk about quilts. What is a quilt? A quilt is a blanket. It's a blanket you can either buy at the store, or specifically a quilt could be made at home. And if a quilt is made at home, quilts can tell stories. Now, the word quilt starts with, who remembers what letter we're talking about this week? Right here. Letter Q. Q says qua. Right. So, I would like to tell you a little bit about the two different quilts that I have here today. This quilt right here, this big one with all of the pretty purples and greens, this quilt was made for me by my husband's mom for our wedding. This quilt over here is one of my daughter's quilts. It's a baby quilt. And this quilt was made by my great grandmother, who is now in heaven. My daughter never met her, but I get to tell my daughter when she grows up all about her great great grandmother, the one who made this quilt. It's very special, and there are lots of stories that go into quilts. So here's a story about a special quilt. And this is called the keeping quilt. Now, I need you to keep an eye on the colors in this story. If you notice, the pictures are all black and white, except, if I can get closer, there are a couple colors. Do you see the colors right here? There's red and there's some blue. All right, so keep an eye on the red and the blue. It's kind of long, so parents, if you find that your child needs a bit of a break from this story, that's fine. You can come back to it in a little bit. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read first, and then I will show the pictures. Remember to keep an eye on the colors in the picture. When my great grandma Anna came to America, she wore the same thick overcoat and big boots she had worn for farm work. But her family weren't dirt farmers anymore. In New York City, her father's work was hauling things on a wagon, and the rest of the family made artificial flowers all day. Everyone was in a hurry, and it was so crowded, not like in back home Russia. But all the same, it was their home, and the most of their neighbors were just like them. So, you see the red and the blue? Keep an eye on the colors. When Anna went to school, English sounded to her like pebbles dropping into shallow water. Shh, shh, shh. In 6 months she was speaking English. Her parents almost never learned, so she spoke English for them too. The only things she had left of back home Russia were her dress and the babushka she liked to throw up in the air when she was dancing. So what color is her dress? What color is her dress? Blue. And what color is the babushka? Red. Now see, the babushka can be worn on somebody's head, That's normally how I guess it's worn. Or it can be used to play with, like on this page over here. And her dress was getting too small. After her mother had sewn her a new one, she took her old dress and babushka. Then, from a basket of old clothes, she took Uncle Vladimir's shirt, Aunt Havela's nightdress, and an apron of Aunt Natasha's. "We will make a quilt to help us always remember home," Anna's mother said. "It will be like having the family in back home Russia dance around us at night." So you see here her dress was getting too small. Have you ever tried clothes on and then your clothes are a little too small? Yep, that means you're growing. And then here they are, the dress and the babushka. And so it was. Anna's mother invited all the neighborhood ladies. They cut out animals and flowers from the scraps of clothing. Anna kept the needles threaded and handed them to the ladies as they needed them. The border of the quilt was made of Anna's babushka. So what color was the babushka? Red. This is called a border. It's the part that goes on the outside. And then there's lots of animals and different flowers, and they're all made out of pieces of clothing. On Friday nights, Anna's mother would say the prayers that started the Sabbath. The family ate challah and chicken soup. The quilt was the tablecloth. Anna grew up and fell in love with great-grandpa Sasha. So, to show he wanted to be her husband, he gave Anna a gold coin, a dried flower, and a piece of rock salt, all tied into a linen handkerchief. The gold was for wealth, the flower for love, and the salt so their lives would have flavor. She accepted the hanky, and they were engaged. That means they were going to get married. Under the wedding chuppah, Anna and Sasha promised each other love and understanding. After the wedding, the men and women celebrated separately. There, that is a chuppah. It's kind of like a canopy, kind of. When my grandma Carla was born, Anna wrapped her daughter in the quilt to welcome her warmly into the world. Carla was given a gift of gold, flour, salt, and bread. Gold so she would never know poverty, a flower so she would always know love, salt so her life would always have flavor, and bread so that she would never know hunger. Carla learned to keep the Sabbath and to cook and clean and do the washing. "Married you'll be someday," Anna told Carla. So there they wrapped the baby in the quilt. And here's Carla when she was a little bit older, and she's putting the quilt out to dry. Because they didn't have things like washing machines and dryers back then. And so again, the quilt became a wedding chuppah, this time for Carla's wedding to Grandpa George. Men and women celebrated together, but they still did not dance together. In Carla's wedding bouquet was a gold coin, bread, and salt. Carla and George moved to a farm in Michigan, and great-grandma Anna came to live with them. The quilt once again wrapped a new baby girl. Her name was Mary Ellen. There's the quilt again, being used as a wedding chuppah. And there, the quilt is being used to wrap a new baby in. Her name was Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen called Anna Lady Grandma. She had grown very old and was sick a lot of the time. The quilt kept her legs warm. On Anna's 98th birthday, the cake was kulich, which is a rich cake with raisins and candied fruit in it. So there's the quilt keeping her legs warm, and then there's the quilt being used as a tablecloth again. When great-grandma Anna died, prayers were said to lift her soul to heaven. My mother, Mary Ellen, was now a grown-up. There's the quilt being used on a bed. When Mary Ellen left home, she took the quilt with her. When she became a bride, the quilt became her chuppah. For the first time, friends who were not Jewish came to the wedding. My mother wore a suit, but in her bouquet were gold, bread, and salt. There it is, being used as a wedding chuppah again. The quilt welcomed me, Patricia, into the world, and it was the tablecloth for my first birthday party. So wait a second, just real quick. The baby's name is Patricia. Do you remember what the name of the author was we said at the very beginning before we read the story? Her name is Patricia Polacco. This story is about her and her family. At night, I would trace my fingers around the edges of each animal on the quilt before I went to sleep. I told my mother stories about the animals on the quilt. She told me whose sleeve had made the horse, whose apron had made the chicken, whose dress had made the flowers, and whose babushka went around the edge of the quilt. The quilt was a pretend cape when I was in the bull ring, or sometimes a tent in the steaming Amazon jungle. There's the quilt on Patricia's bed, and she's telling all kinds of stories. And her mom was telling her about whose pieces of clothing made the quilt. And here she's pretending she's a fighter in a bull ring, and here the quilt is a tent. At my wedding to Enzo Mario, men and women danced together. In my bouquet were gold, bread and salt, and a sprinkle of wine so I would always know laughter. And the quilt is again a chuppah, wedding chuppah. 20 years ago, I held Tracy Denise in the quilt for the first time. Someday she too will leave home, and she will take the quilt with her. There she is, as a baby. The quilt's being used to wrap a baby girl in again. So I wonder, friends, oh, that's the end of our story. And I wonder if you have any special blankets at home or anything like that that tells a story about your family. And if you're not sure, I'm sure you can ask. All right? I will see you all later.